Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of the SBF podcast. Today we're going to be talking about some maintenance strategies. So some tips, tricks, little things you can start to implement into just your daily and or weekly life to, I suppose, make maintenance an easier process. So in the last episode we sort of spoke about how to get back to maintenance. Now we want to talk about little things that you can do daily, weekly, monthly, yearly to help you stay at maintenance. So obviously your maintenance can vary from day to day, week to week, month to month, depending on your lifestyle, your stresses, if you increase your activity, decrease activity, etc. However, if you have a pretty consistent maintenance calorie level, and you're just like every other person, you still go out on the weekends, you still catch up with friends, you go out to restaurants, you have dinner at the in-laws or with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is. These are all little opportunities that are going to potentially put you over your maintenance, because anytime we are social, all social activities are 99% involved with food. So that's probably going to be the biggest combatant in terms of staying lean. So if you obviously want to live a leaner life, then we just have to put more effort into tracking our nutrition to some degree. Now, different people are going to have different levels of, what's the right word? I suppose tracking to how they stick to their maintenance calories. And that just depends on how easily you end up going over your maintenance. And a lot of that's to do with your lifestyle. So let's get stuck straight into really easy, simple strategies that you can start implementing today to help you stick to maintenance. So number one, you need to find out what your maintenance is. Most online calculators will give you a very close estimation. You can also track your calories for a week or two. If there's no changes in your weight or measurements, your waist measurements, you're at maintenance. So you've found maintenance. Well done. So I personally do believe it's important to keep your fitness, fat loss, maintenance at the forefront. So it should be somewhat of an importance in your life to maintain or be around the same weight most of the year round. So when people lose weight and then they just throw their hands up in the air, they're like, I'm here now, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing before, you're going to gain the weight back 100%. And that's why people usually gain weight back over the long term. So setting fitness goals or setting some sort of health and fitness goal that's roughly related to weight is, I find, important. So for example, achieving X amount of pull-ups. Obviously the lighter you are, pull-ups become easier. If you have a fitness goal to run a marathon or squat 3 times your body weight. So set an ongoing goal for yourself that's usually fitness related is always a good idea. Now if you have a photo shoot or like a vacation or holiday booked in, usually people like to look a bit leaner for special occasions, then having those planned throughout the year is important. So if you know you have a yearly holiday where it's going to be in the sun, on the beach, and you want to look on the leaner side for that occasion, which is nothing wrong with that, by the way, that's perfectly fine, then it gives you something to work towards. So yes, you might gain a little bit of weight earlier in the year, and then you just make sure you lose that fat before the end of the year, and that helps keep you in balance. Having a target essentially is what I'm trying to say. Always trying to improve your fitness. So the two most common things that people who are successful at long-term weight loss, people are always continuously putting effort into the food that they eat in terms of tracking, or at least guesstimating roughly what they're eating, roughly calories, things like that. And there's always some sort of purposeful effort going into their physical activity. So no one ever just stops gym completely and remains exactly the same weight. Most people usually will start to drop off, start watching Netflix at night time instead of hitting up the gym, and then slowly they start gaining weight. Now, you can use a step goal as well. So just trying to be somewhat physically active. At the bare minimum, I would usually like to say try and aim for about 5,000 daily steps. And then in terms of physical activity, trying to aim anywhere from 2 to 4 weight training sessions per week, or higher intensity physical activity training sessions per week. Now, I'm always biased to weight training because it gets you the most bang for your buck, but it could be group classes. You may like to swim, you may like playing, I don't know, badminton, whatever. You may have sports that you like to do. Whatever it is, just being physically active is always a good thing. All right. A lot of people think that counting your calories and tracking your weight, being at the gym, going for a run is obsessive and unhealthy. If you want to really talk about what's unhealthy, then that is basically going to work, sitting down for 8 hours, coming home, sitting down for the rest of the day, watching Netflix for hours on end is unhealthy. And we know this for a fact. So, I digress. I'm going on a tangent. Now, different strategies that you can use on a weekly basis or weekly, monthly basis is eating maintenance every day, and if you have social events coming up, saving the bulk of your calories for that social event. So this is basically just to do with budgeting. So budgeting your calories whilst you're at maintenance. So let's say, for example, you have a maintenance calories of 2,000. All right. So let's say you do have a social event coming up. If you listen to my previous episode, you know my opinion that most people usually gain their weight because they usually eat their entire day's worth of food, maintenance calories in their normal day. Then they go out socially at night and catch up with friends and family, etc., and then go above their maintenance. Therefore, they've gained a little bit of fat on that one social event, but they never pay back the pipe. At never point do they come back under their maintenance calories. So we always want to plan ahead. If you know you're going to be social, if you know you have an occasion coming up, if you're catching up with friends or family or whatever it is, let's say it's a big dinner. So what I would then recommend, one strategy you can start implementing is on the day of your social event, you can bank as much of your calories as possible for that social event. All right. So basically you would just get up in the morning. You might have, this is how my typical day would probably go. I'd probably have a coffee in the morning. I'd probably have some sort of dose of protein, like a protein shake. If possible, I'd try and get a weight training session in on that social event day as well. And then I'd probably have some sort of protein lunch. So it could just be some eggs, still very low in calories. If my maintenance calories are say 2,400, I've already spent maybe 300 to 400 on a protein shake and some eggs. I still now have 2,200 calories or 2,000 calories-ish that I can now use for my social event. I can literally spend 2,000 calories being social. And that is just me only sacrificing one day of eating. And even then, I'm still eating through the day. Some other strategies that you can also incorporate is you can have slightly lower calorie days throughout the week. So if your maintenance is 2,000, you might eat closer to 1,700 or 1,800 calories for 5 days. And then all of that food that you've saved up, those calories, the extra 200 every other day, can be allotted to your set day event. And then that can just create that little bit of an extra buffer. So should you go above your maintenance calories, you've already banked yourself another 600, 700, 800 calories just in case you happen to go over. Now, you can also incorporate, so not in terms of, we're trying to get away from the social aspect now, but just in terms of just overall, just calories in, calories out average for the week. You can start incorporating 1 to possibly 2 fast days for the entire week, and that can buffer your days that you eat close to maintenance or slightly above. So for example, if you just set 1 day per week where you have a protein sparing modified fast, which is essentially just a protein day with the bare minimum calories, or you can have just an entire fast day, so you would just literally have water and black coffee for all day and then just have dinner. Now, the calories that you don't spend on that day can be moved to other days of the week. Therefore, you can eat close to maintenance, not even really track it, and should you happen to go over, then you went over, and it will just basically be adding to that one day that you didn't eat those calories. So that's another strategy. Now, I did touch on this one a little bit earlier in the last episode as well. Now, if you have lost a significant amount of weight, you're going to have clothes that are loose. So clothes that are too big that don't necessarily fit. Get rid of them, chuck them out. You do not need them. If they are there, they are always giving you the option to potentially gain a little bit of body fat back because you have clothes that fit, plain and simple. The best thing you can do is literally get rid of your wardrobe, get rid of anything that does not fit anymore. Treat yourself. Go out and buy some new clothes, new jeans, new fitted shirts if you're a guy, new work dresses that are semi-fitted for women, whatever it is. New suit. Just get rid of the old stuff that doesn't fit, it's too loose, and buy new clothes that are relatively fitted. It doesn't have to be super tight, but just things that fit snug or are comfortable and look good. Therefore, your clothes will give you instant feedback. The second that you let your diet slip too much, as soon as your belt starts getting too tight, or your jeans are a little bit too tight, or your shirt's getting a little bit too tight to do up, and you'll feel it pretty much straight away, then you know your diet's been slipping. And it's much easier to diet off 1 to 2 kilos of weight gain than it is to let yourself slide up 10, 15 kilos over the course of 6 months, because you've got old clothes you can fit into and they're comfortable. And it just stops you from spiraling. And this tip has worked for me, and it's worked for many clients in the past as well. Now, I do also want to emphasize that your weight maintenance is also going to be a lifestyle change. So the person who you were previously, well, let's say you've lost 10, 20 kilos. So the person that you were when you were 20 kilos heavier, 10 kilos heavier, you can't be that same person anymore. All right? That person is gone. They're dead. They're non-existent. You now need to create the new you. The new you who wants to be lean, healthy, and active and fit, and put effort into their fitness and their lifestyle. Now, it does require ongoing effort, but the more you practice something, the easier it gets. And it is very possible to maintain substantial amounts of weight loss for long periods of time, because I have done this. Many clients I train have done this. I mean, there's also been clients who I've trained who have gained the weight back. This is more of a lifestyle issue, but people have done it. It can be done. It does come down to a little bit of how bad do you want to keep your results? Are the people around you encouraging you to live the lifestyle that you want to? Or are they trying to get you to come back out on the weekend and binge drink and get takeaway 4 nights a week? Of course, that's all fun. It's all tasty, delicious. I'd love to eat takeaway food 5-6 times a week, but it's just not feasible. I